Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Chantelle Boyle, and I am a third year PhD student in the School of Education. Today I'm going to talk to you about the PhD overload, which sounds really dramatic, but I promise you by the end you'll be like, right, okay, it's not that dramatic. I wanted to present this just because it's something that I wish maybe I'd had a wee chat about expectations at the beginning of your own PhD journey. So, just to give you a wee overview, this is the agenda. I'll give you a quick introduction and background into why I'm here today presenting to you. The second part will actually look at what I mean by PhD overload. And the third part, I'll look at some magic words, which sounds really ominous, but they're really simple. And I wish some of these words I had known myself in my journey. Then finally, I'll just conclude with some tips going forward. So basically, this is just some of the things I have done over my PhD. And trying to find pictures of everything I've done was crazy. So most of this is from actually just the last year that I've done there. You can see here that I've presented to other PGRs. I've taken part in the Visualise Your Thesis competition that Sasha was talking about in the chat. I have posted my work on blogs, I've been part of conferences, and I've looked into Education Scotland presentations as well. This is what I mean by PhD overload. It feels like you've got to do all these things, especially being a PhD student. You're always on the go, and just when you think you're finished one presentation, you're booked in for something else. Sometimes it's really great and it's one of the best parts about doing the PhD. But today I just wanted to talk to you about managing that and becoming not overwhelmed because that's not what you want to happen. You want to have all these fun opportunities, but you want to have a balance with it as well. So basically, what do I mean about the PhD overload? Most of you are probably exactly like I was at the very beginning, thinking about doing a PhD, right at the start of your PhD. You're excited, you've got in, you're going to do your research. You cannot wait. Feel that? That's how I felt. We were all excited. But then all of a sudden, you get into the journey and you're taking part in conferences, you've got supervisor meetings, you're writing journal articles, having internships, doing competitions, writing abstract, peer reviews, field work, GTA work, and the list keeps going on and on and on. And I would like to point out that most of the stuff that is coming up here, I have done over the past sort of 3 years. And it kind of starts to feel a bit like this. You feel like everything kind of gets on top of you a little bit if you let it. And when you see it all presented on a page like that, you go, what on earth am I expected to do? But I wanted to kind of come on here and say that you don't have to feel like Squidward here. There is a way out. And your magic word is kind of no. As simple as it may seem, you might go for the Scottish no, more polite another time, but thank you for keeping me in mind. I'll have to pass on the opportunity at the moment or know the new. Basically, as a PhD student myself, I felt like no was a bad word. I felt like if I was saying no to opportunities, that it meant they would never come up again, or perhaps someone else would think worse of me. It was a little bit of imposter syndrome almost. Um, yeah, I'm the first generation of my family to do a PhD, so I wasn't really sure what was expected of me. And at times I felt like I had to say yes to everything, especially when it was coming from like my supervisors and they said, this opportunity's coming up, do this, do this. I felt like I had to do it. And not in a pressurized way, but I just felt like these were all great opportunities. But it's important to have no in your dialogue as well, in a nicer way. Just make sure that the things that you are wanting to do in your PhD, you are doing, and there's a bit of a goal behind it. Don't just say yes to everything because although it seems like it'll go by really fast, and it does, take time to enjoy it as well. That's kind of your magic words. although they're not really that magic. It's not like abracadabra, but they really do mean a lot if you just say no at some points, as hard as it may seem. Basically, my main message to you today is that you can't pour from an empty cup. If you're trying to do all these different things, you're definitely not giving your best to everything along the way. There's definitely times where I was taking on lots of different activities and then going, oh yeah, I've actually got to write my PhD. So it's about maintaining all these different things that you've got going on. And you've got to take care of yourself. If you're absolutely burning yourself to the ground, then that's not a position to be in. And today I wanted to talk to you about that because I have experienced burnout through this. Like I say, no was never in my vocabulary. And I just done everything that was thrown at me. And I've really enjoyed it. There were also times that I wanted to maybe just rest and recharge and things. So take care of yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be no use to anyone. Just a few wee tips. So on the do side, do manage your time. If you feel like you can do all these things, then that's cool. Go for it. But make sure that it fits in. Another really good tip is about putting in relaxation time. In your diary, actually write relax. Because if you don't, you'll forget about it and it's the first thing to go. Look for creative ways to share your research and your knowledge. So, like I say, I took part in the visualize your thesis No, I didn't. Yes, I did. The visualize your thesis competition. But there's also the a competition coming up just now where you have to do your presentation in 3 minutes, whereas the visualize your thesis was only 1 minute long. But these were really creative ways to sort of have fun with it. And I used like Play-Doh and stuff to come up with mine. So it actually was a little bit relaxing, but it was really exciting as well. And it was less formal. Know your limits. I'm not coming out here and saying don't do anything. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But it's just about if you're someone that really does like to do lots, then that's fine. I'm someone that doesn't like to sit about and not have anything coming up next. But it's about knowing when to say no and when to say, I've got a lot on my plate, let's just chill. And finally, do have a plan. So if you're just beginning your PhD journey, think about what the goal is for your first year, your second year, your third year. I thought you kind of had to get straight out the door and have journal articles written, and that's not always the case. So again, talk to your supervisors and just have a plan. On the don't side, then, it's kind of the opposite. Don't overload yourself with tasks. And if you do that, you are going to spread yourself thin. And as I've said earlier, if you do that, you're really not going to be putting in as much effort into having 100 things on the go. If you maybe focus on one or two things, then you're going to give your best self. Don't feel guilty. You don't have to do absolutely everything. Peer pressure's pretty bad in sort of doing the PhD because you feel like everyone around you's doing stuff. But don't be afraid to say no. Just because your friend's doing it, just because your supervisor says so, just don't feel guilty. Do your own thing. So to conclude, enjoy your time. That picture way back at the beginning where you're like cheering because you're coming into your PhD, try and maintain that as much as you can throughout your whole journey. It's your PhD. Enjoy it. Make it your own. Don't compare yourself to supervisors, to other people. Just have your own journey. Speak to your peers and colleagues about maybe what is suitable goals to have and look out for these creative ways as well to do things and get your message out there. And if you do all these things, then you can avoid PhD overload and you can be zen and you can actually enjoy it. So, thank you very much.